And that's
Hangouts Live. It automatically tweets, by the way. People must be getting really annoyed with like my multiple tweets. Okay, here we go. We're gonna start. We're back. Don't say that. Don't fucking say that.
What else could go wrong? I mean, come on.
I know. Okay.
So we're back. We are going to be talking about Westworld Episode 7. A French name to it, which means Reality Revealed.
Yes. Reality Revealed. And this is the Nerdrotic Podcast.
Yes, it is.
My name is Gary Buechler, and I am live in San Francisco, California, and I am with my good friend
Dennis Bithoulkas down in lovely San Diego.
Whale's vagina. I think that joke will never get old.
You know, it might for some people.
It might. So we just watched Westworld Episode 7. We just said the title, and I'm not going to say it again because it's French. And this was a crazy episode. This was what we have been waiting for, Dennis. I've been saying multiple podcasts, pretty much everyone that this show has a great potential to like just turn us upside down, and this was the first tiny one at the end, which we will talk about because they threw something at us that maybe I should have seen coming. I kind of felt the same way I did after I saw Fight Club. It's like, I should have caught that. But we knew something like this would happen. We just didn't know who.
We knew somebody working in the downstairs portion was, at least a few people are hosts.
Well, I mean, let's just
robots.
Yeah, and let's just go right into it. And as John says, let's not bury the lead. Bernard is a host.
Yes.
WTF. Bernard is a host. Okay, first I'm going to ask, did you see that coming, Dennis?
I saw it just when they walked into that. He was talking about, he explains it. He said the reason why the cottage isn't on the map is because the hosts are the ones that do the surveying of all the land. And they don't see things that they aren't programmed not to see.
Yeah.
And when Theresa turned and says, "What's this door here?" and he says, "What door?" I was like, "Oh shit, Bernard's a host."
Yeah. But up until that moment, were you even suspecting at all?
I was kind of thinking he was, because I was thinking back on it, and he was missing some obvious things and like kind of not seeing them. I guess you would at first I was kind of explaining it away like it was an engineer, but then I thought, well, he could be, and then I was like, I kept going back and forth on it.
No, see, I didn't suspect at all. I'm going to be honest. I didn't suspect at all. I'm not saying you weren't being honest right there. I'm just saying with me. I'm saying by this episode, I totally thought he was human. Because I'd gone back and forth. It was just like little micro thoughts of like, he could be. And then I'm like, no, he's not. He can't be. And yeah,
it wasn't until the door that's when I was, holy shit, yeah. He really is.
And that's when Melissa caught it, and that's when I tweeted out, I hope it wasn't spoilery, but I just went, oh shit, fuck, what the fuck? They finally did something, crazy. And it was cold-blooded what Ford did. And just up until last episode, Melissa and I and Emo out there were speculating whether Emo is one of our Facebook watchers. We're usually live on Facebook, but since Dennis and I aren't together, we can't be. We're working on that issue. But it was quite a shock. It was quite a shock. And we're just going to start at the beginning there. So, Dr. Ford showed what a badass he is. And I was thinking Dr. Ford might have been a host as well.
Yeah.
A self-made one.
I was thinking that as well. Yeah.
And he still could be.
And the whole thing with, he still could very well be. And the thing is, he could have been built by Arnold, because remember, he said Arnold had built that family for him, his family. And he could have definitely built Ford as well. Considering that there is no, and this is the thing I forgot from the last episode, was the woman who came in from the board. They said they don't know who not his boss, his brother-in-law, said they've gone through all the records. They don't know who actually owns Westworld.
Well, it's Delios. She
they
works
know
for
that,
Delios. Yeah.
Well, yeah, the company does run it, but Ford owns it. He still kind of owns everything.
Now, who was talking about that in the records? Say that again, because you blanked out there.
That was Billy's brother-in-law, William's brother-in-law.
So he said, okay, so I didn't catch that. I know that they were talking about buying the place.
Yeah,
like
they said they were buying the place, and they had their lawyers looking into it, but they can't find the name of the person who created everything.
Well, see, that's why I don't think Arnold exists. I don't think Arnold was ever a person, because when he showed Bernard, and it could have been nothing because he was showing the host Bernard a picture of what was his father, not Arnold. So yeah, it's very interesting to see who Arnold is. I'm wondering if you go back to the first or second episode, that little scene where Anthony Hopkins was young and he's looking down at a host who's looking up at him. I think that might be Arnold. I think Arnold's a host. Or Arnold is an acronym for AI at this point. This is just where I'm at now. And remember, we talked about last night, and Melissa and I talked about last podcast, like, we don't know who's hosted. And I said last week, I'm like, I bet you half the staff is hosts. And we're going to go, we're starting at the end right now. So basically, Bernard's a host, and Anthony Hopkins or Dr. Ford has Bernard kill Theresa, which was just cold because they were lovers. Although she dropped him like a sack of potatoes. But
it wasn't because of that. He actually warned her last episode. He warned her fairly well.
And he did, but I mean, he was a host. He didn't know. He didn't want to kill her. And like Ford just, really showed a lot of his hand. He tried to scare her off. For one, he did. Yeah, you're right. He did try to warn her and scare her off. But then this board lady came in. I don't know her name, and forced the issue. And they did it.
Kate
they did it pretty badly. So what they did was they took Maeve's best friend from the saloon, the other lady of the night, and they kind of sabotaged her and tried to sabotage Ford to make it look like his creations are going bad. And they did this whole display in front of Ford, and it was so fake that Bernard caught it. Now, this is before we thought Bernard would. This is when we still thought Bernard was a human. And Ford's look on his face while this whole thing is going down, and it's pretty brutal. They had what looked like a security guard start beating the crap out of the girl, and then when Theresa says stop, he stops, and then she, says that he's a host, but he's a host programmed to come off like a human, and then they have them stop, reset, wipe their memory, and then she beats the shit out of him.
Yeah, they re-upped the program. The program that they said was the faulty program.
Yeah, which was fake.
Yeah.
So Ford is watching this whole thing go down, and you got the best Hannibal Lecter look since Hannibal Lecter. Like right at the end when he's just staring at the girl, just going, oh.
Yeah, he has this kind of half fake smile on his face, and he's not moving at all. And just kind of staring, not blinking. And especially when Theresa and the board member say that, Bernard, if he didn't catch any of this, even though his direct reports were telling him all this stuff was going on, then he was either compliant in it or he was just very bad at his job.
And what we thought was going on all season was he was just didn't want to rat out Ford because he loved him. Now we find out he didn't rat out Thor because Thor's dad. They didn't rat him out because he's programmed not to, which it was very.
Which also brings a new question. It also brings new questions. What was he doing with Dolores? Now, when he's asking her those questions, was he starting to think that he was a host and trying to question Dolores, and she was the oldest host in the park?
That opens up a whole new layer. Was it actually Dr. Ford through Bernard trying to get to Dolores, or is it just Bernard becoming self-aware? And in the scenes, it kind of shows the fact that he is self-aware.
Yeah.
So Bernard might be the AI. I mean, like I said, we're coming at this with multiple facets, and we still have Meave out there who we'll talk to doing her own thing. I think. This thing got turned upside down.
Everyone else is. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's like, what's the tagline of this show now? It's like who is real? I mean, that's like who's real and who isn't, and that they're going to be able to play with that, and it's going to be fun. It's going to be real fun. I also thought at the end they were making when Theresa, that door that Bernard didn't see, and they were going into the house that was in Sector 17, right? No, that's where
I don't remember what the sector.
That's where Evie was, but whatever. It was a sector that wasn't used, and that's where his parents' house. And Bernard had led her there, and that door that he didn't see, she followed him down, and they were making a body down there. I guarantee you, that's Theresa they're making.
Probably
it is. And
I don't know. It looked like a child, actually, though.
No. Well, I mean, I'm guessing it's Theresa, and I'm guessing, and Ford insinuated right before he had Bernard kill Theresa that, oh, you're just the latest in a line of Spinal Tap drummers who have come in and died. And
well, he says it's a little guy they like playing, and he goes, and this game, and as soon as he was getting ready to spit it out, he goes, it deserves a blood sacrifice. And I was like, oh, shit. Yeah.
And that was talked about. And like, how did Ford know about that? How did he hear it? Because that was a conversation between the board director and Theresa when she forced the issue of, outing Dr. Ford and getting him fired or asking him to leave nicely. That's what they were saying. And she said, well, the board requires a blood sacrifice. And Ford uttered that very line right before she died. And so
he reminded her that he built everything in the park. So he's listening to everything that's going on. He knows everything that's going on in that park.
And when she brings up the board, I mean, Ford starts laughing. Like, yeah, bored, schmored. We play these little games. I think there is no board. You know what I mean? Or there is a board, but I don't think anybody's controlling Dr. Ford. And I didn't mean to rhyme there. I'm sorry. No. But I don't know. I don't know. And I love the fact that we haven't seen. I mean, all we've seen of the outside world was in this episode. Bernard showed the bandit guy, the guy who was in Love Actually, who was in the scene with Painted Black classical version, which was rad. And he showed us pictures of a monorail, of a city, of a guy in a lab. And he's like, these pictures mean anything to you? He's all, no. So I think we got to let's go all the way back to the beginning of the episode. And we have Bernard. The episode starts out with Bernard in a memory or a dream, talking to his son right before he died, and he's reading him Alice in Wonderland, and it starts with him waking up within his dream, and his son's all, you fell asleep, Dad, and he's all, what were you talking about? Oh, well, the madman. And we were like,
first of all, before you go over that, the Mad Hatter, the section he was talking about.
Well, that's what I'm getting.
The Mad Hatter.
That's what I'm sorry. Yeah. So that's what he's all, Dad, remember we got to the madman. He's all, oh yes, the Mad Hatter. And he goes into the whole reading of the fact that, if I create a world, I would create one that's peculiar or different, where everything that isn't. And then the kid says, and this is where it gets really interesting. The kid's all, everything isn't like me, Dad. He's all, no, you're perfect. And then the kid starts to die. It looks like an aneurysm or something like that. But right before he dies, he says, Dad, you need to listen to me. You need to listen to me. And then he dies. So I think that is AI trying to get through to Bernard.
Well, that's Arnold. Arnold, remember? He's been whispering to everyone.
So I think he's whispering through the kid in that dream.
Yeah. Well, Dolores and Meave both have heard, listen to me.
Yeah.
And I think it's Arnold. Like I said, remember last episode I was saying, leaking out from that maze. I think he's trapped he's trapped someplace in the park, is what it is. And I think his consciousness has been trapped there by Ford. And slowly leaking out.
And they must have did some kind of crazy experiment, like Arnold likes, hey, kill me and download me into this computer. And of course, Ford, being an opportunistic bastard, kills him and downloads them, and then like puts a firewall around them or something like that.
Yeah. Well, remember, he tried to take down the park, so he probably put the firewall around them, saying, "Okay," because no one understands the code either. No one understands the code of the hosts at all.
Yep.
They understand snippets of it, but not the entire code. And that's what Bernard says during the episode. Meave, there's got to be a singularity or an AI or a brain, if you will, directing everybody and what their actions are. There's no way, if you don't understand what the code is and how these things are operating, it means they're being controlled from something else.
Yes, they are. But what I think is going on right now is I think it's Ford playing a game. I think some of the hosts that we think are kind of going off on their own actually aren't at all. And I think this is just a prediction, speculation. That's what we do here. I think that by the end of the series, we're going to find out that this was all a big freaking game by Ford. And I think after we find that out, we're going to get another, like a little stinger scene where we actually do see one actually think for itself. So if I could be wrong on that one, but, you and I have read a lot of comic books.
Ford's?
Yeah, I think this is Ford's. This is part of Ford's narrative.
His own narrative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we finally get the Man in Black back next week in the scenes, and I'm looking forward to that. But let's talk a little bit about. Let's talk about Meave.
Yeah.
Meave continues her journey.
Lobotomized.
They have her walk out with Felix, and she sees her friend get lobotomized, and I guess they're going to start. The order came down that they're going to do that to all of them. They're going to just take them offline and rebuild them from scratch.
The 47 or 52. It's 52 of them, I believe, is what it is.
Interesting number.
I can't remember if it was 47 or 52. It was the ones that Arnold had built himself.
That would be interesting. That's 52 because technically this is owned by HBO, which has Brubaker working on it, which is Warner Brothers, which is DC. Yeah. Yes.
Well, originally
the same property was DC.
Last episode they said he originally did 90 some odd hosts that he built himself, and out of those, only it was like 47 or 52 were still active.
It was 47% are still active. I remember that number clearly, but. Were they going to deactivate just the ones he updated, or I heard her say all of them? Like we're going to bring everybody down, which is I don't. Now after the events of this episode, I don't think any of that shit's going to happen. I truly do feel bad for Theresa. She brought this upon herself.
She got screwed,
but she got screwed. She got set up by the board, and the board knew, like they were sending her out as the blood sacrifice, and I think they push forward. I mean, it's pushing boundaries, and eventually they're going to beat him. He's getting old.
Yeah,
but he ain't going to go down without a fight, and that's what's really cool about this season is like, this show could just grow and grow and grow and grow. With Meave, I think they're setting up Meave for a fall. So her next plan now, after she sees her friend lobotomized, she's like, okay, I'm fucking out of here. Bye.
Yeah,
and she threatens to kill the two guys that are helping her, which I am convinced.
Just the one guy. Just the one guy.
Okay, well,
Owen, I think his name is.
One of those guys is a host.
I think it's the Asian guy is a host.
Felix. That's Felix. I don't know the other guy's names.
Owen was the other guy because she.
Owen. Okay, Melissa remembered Felix because I think she's attracted to him, but that's okay. That's fine with me. So then we have Dolores and William, and right now this is kind of the slowest thing. I like the guy who plays Lawrence. I forgot the actor. I freaking love him. Absolutely everything. He was in Boondock Saints 2 and
been in lots of different things.
And Star Trek, the Star Trek reboot. The guy's a great character actor. Just fantastic character actor. And they had, but this was a cool Western scene. I mean, this was like, that's what's so cool about the show is they're in a train and they're going through what's called Ghost Nation territory. And like these big metal things come on the side of the train down, it's like big lead, just to keep, from the Indians from attacking. And they get ambushed by the Confederates who've got this.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how the Confederates got ahead of them.
Well, see, this is the thing. It's part of the narrative. It's part of the story. So
Yeah.
it's part of this storyline that William is in, that the Confederates stop him. And remember, the further out you go in the park, this is a video game. We talked about this last night. This is a video game, and you got to look at it in video game standards. You know, almost like Red Dead Redemption, y'all. Great game, by the way. And there's another one coming out next year or later this year. And this, that's weird. My sound is coming in waves. Are you hearing me in waves?
Sometimes, but it's mainly it's kind of, you know, I think it's just a connection. That's all it is.
Well, but I'm hearing it like I'm right on I've got my headphone to my mic, and it's pulsating or something weird.
No, it's actually good.
Okay.
It's completely fine.
Well, we'll see how it sounds on the thing, and I'll edit this out. So don't ask. That's an edit point. So where was I? Okay, it is a full moon tonight. Yes, yeah, man, cool. It is a full moon tonight. It is a full moon. So we get the ambush, and we get, you know, anytime we see a Gatling gun, it's freaking cool. And then they use one of those bodies they filled with nitroglycerin, which was rad, dude. They sent it out with the surrender flag, and he just lights up, and the thing just yeah, dude, and it just blows up with the horse, and that was freaking a rad scene. So they get chased, and then the Indians attack them. And they're all painted white, and it's like freaking badass, and they slaughter the Confederates. But that was a really good, I mean, some of the tracking shot that's on the horse, you know, going through that was just badass. I mean, the filming of this was so cinematic and rad.
You know, we never did find out what happened to Jonas, though, which is William's brother-in-law, because we saw he got captured by the Confederates.
We will find out, and Melissa and I, because you weren't there for the podcast, I'll repeat that we think he was nabbed by Ford, like Dr. Ford nabbed him, like he saw him as because he's there spying, basically. Yeah, I mean, we also did not find out what happened to Evie, who.
I think Evie is. I think there's some. I honestly think there are rogue hosts connected to the system that are self-aware. That was the other thing I forgot to actually mention last night. And I think that's where they're hiding out, is in that unmapped area.
That, you know, it's a big enough place, and if they can't find them, they also mentioned in this episode, that's a great point. They mentioned in this episode, when they do the surveying and stuff, they send out hosts. They don't send out humans. So, I mean, that's horribly irresponsible. And you could set up, that's rad. So I don't think Evie's dead. But when we were at the end, and Bernard was down in what looked like Ford's little secret office, and they were looking at the plans of Bernard, they showed some plans for the original Dolores, which looked a lot like Evie.
Yep.
Looked a lot like Evie. So she is probably a...
You know, that body that was... about Evie's height.
Well, Theresa's not very tall either. She's always in high heels and stuff. So I think it's Theresa. But if you say it's Evie, we can do that. We also, before we go tonight, you and I, because Melissa will be back next week, you and I are going to do a death pool. We're going to do Westworld, our first annual Westworld death draft pool. I'm not going to do it like John. We're just going to pick 3 people we think are going to die, 3 people we're going to think we're going to live, and how you think it's going to end. Okay, so I want you to think about that, and I like it spontaneous. Let me look over my notes here. William Dolores.
So run that.
It might have been nothing. Remember when there was all the severed heads? So when they were going, they figured out they were going into the ghost country, or the Ghost Nation country.
Ghost Nation territory. Yeah.
Great name. Love it. There was a bunch of severed heads on spikes, which was a great scene. They focused on one that looked like it had a turban on or something like that. It could be nothing. No. Yeah. The last head, it like I said, it looked,
face.
It looked like it had a turban or something. But they held on it long enough to make me think, I need to go back and watch that again. And that makes me think of something. You're the only person I know who caught what I caught last week. Now
Bill Brenner?
I watch other Westworld podcasts because I like to spy. None of the ones I watched, but I don't watch like IGN ones and crap like that. I watch like regular folk doing them. It's way more entertaining for me. IGNs are produced by people who do TV shows. It's almost not even fair. Yul Brynner. Yul Brynner in the office downstairs. That was amazing. I was so proud of myself because I don't catch shit. You catch shit like that all the time. I don't. And when I saw that, I'm like, oh my God. So in the last podcast, if y'all want to go back and watch, I do blow up a picture of it. And it is definitely 100% Yul Brynner. If it's just an Easter egg, that's fine. I'm cool with that. If they actually bring him in, which they could, they absolutely could.
Do a digital overlay and all that stuff. And
that
they've already done it before with him. I don't know if you remember back about 15 years ago, after he died, they actually did a anti-smoking commercial.
I was in the 80s. I was like 30 years ago, dude. I remember. Okay. Oh, I'll never forget
a digital overlay of his face.
Yeah.
And he had actually signed off on that. He wanted them to do that because that's what he had. He had cancer from smoking.
Yep.
And he knew they were going to do something like that. Yeah. So he actually signed away his digital likeness way back then.
Oh, yeah. Forward thinking. I'm wondering how many actors do that because that is part of waivers now. And the first movie that I remember doing it well, semi-well, was that Terminator crap movie that came out 10 years ago, or Salvation.
Terminator.
Captain America has perfected it. Then they even made it even better in Civil War. That young Tony Stark was dude, that was amazing.
Man, and the young Ant-Man one with young Michael Douglas.
That was the best. The young Michael Douglas was absolutely the best. That was so great. And I felt so bad. I was like, he could still look like that. It was that damn cancer that got him. I don't know if he still has it or not, but
no, he's clear of it now.
He's clear of it now, but man, he's just
he had surgery. He had surgery down his mouth and throat.
Well, yeah, it just did a number on him. That's what it does. And the Anthony Hopkins for a TV show, that was really good. I mean, it really looked like, what it looked like to me? It looked like The Bounty, Anthony Hopkins.
Yeah, that's exactly what they did. They went back to some of the movies. And
if you have not seen The Bounty, ladies and gentlemen, it is Mel Gibson and Anthony Hopkins, Mutiny and the Bounty. Need I say more? It's one of the greatest movies ever made, period.
It's a great film. Yeah.
I am in hell.
It's actually one of the better remakes.
Yes, it is. And it doesn't have Vangelis music? I think it does. Yes, it has Vangelis music.
I believe.
By the way, can I go on a little side tangent on how great the soundtrack is for Westworld? And it is done by I can't pronounce his. It's Romney something or other, and he does Game of Thrones. And this soundtrack is so different because it started out very classical and Western, and as the episodes have gone on, it's gone straight Tron. And it's gone digital and stuff. And so when you're in the Western scenes, it's got your classical music, and then in the background, with the corporate espionage, we have like the Tron 2 soundtrack.
I was going to mention, the piano, the player piano.
Yeah.
It's playing some kind of 90s song. I can't remember what the name of the song is.
Well, it's played 2 Radiohead songs so far, and it played one I did not recognize, but. Yeah, it played.
Which I thought was pretty funny. It took me a while. I was sitting there listening to it. I'm like, I know this song. Where do I know this song from? I'm listening to it. I'm like, it's from the radio.
I can't remember it, but I think one of the songs is off of Paranoid Android, which is a reference to Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. And before radio did a lot of heroin, when they were still freaking amazing. They're still an amazing band, but they were the best band in the world for a couple of albums. So, John will not agree with me on that one. By the way, he does not. He is an Oasis
fan either, but
whatever. John likes the third best Beatles cover band ever, which is Oasis. He loves it when I say that too.
Excuse me, that one I can't get behind at all. That one that just Oasis, no.
Yeah. So here's another thing they can play with besides, and we did talk about this last night, was this is a show that's basically a time travel show that doesn't have the time travel thing to play with, because we have characters that we're seeing things through that don't see everything that's right in front of them. That's why, remember we talked about last night about the gun, when Dolores had the gun and disappeared and then appeared, and that's her consciousness. And how they see time is basically when they're turned, it's when they're turned off and they're turned back on. It could be 5 weeks later. It's nothing to them. So I think you were right last night. Last night, Dennis talked about, I think they're really playing with time. And yeah, there are scenes that are definitely out of time. I think we have seen some scenes that take place months either before or after certain other scenes. And oh my God, you can hide so many mistakes in this too. I mean, imagine you're blinking out. Okay, there. So just imagine they had to do all this reshooting and stuff, and they could just cover it up by saying, "Oh, it was a time jump," or from.
I'm pretty sure the Man in Black, all his scenes are different times because he's come back. He's been saying, for 30 some odd years, 35 years. And only now he's getting to that, that final, the maze game.
Well, I want to know is the fact that we haven't heard his name is something. The fact that.
Well, the guy did mention him.
Oh yeah, he's somebody out in the real world, and I've had that pegged from one. I'm like, he is a super rich guy. He's either a politician, and this is how he gets his kicks. And it really worked for him for a lot of years, but now he's dying. I think he's dying of something, and and he comes off as a real bad guy. But remember, he's just going there to get his kicks, and I don't condone his kicks, and I would never, I wouldn't, if somebody paid me to do that shit to something fake, I wouldn't do it. But
I was just thought about it. Them doing an experiment on Arnold, putting him into the AI, and then the Man in Black saying, "I'm going there to the middle of the maze to live there," and him dying.
Oh yeah,
that's it right there.
I think the IP, the intellectual property they want to own. At first, of course, I go right to Super Soldier like everybody, but I'm like, no, it's eternal life. It's eternal life. And the problem is, who wants, it's like Dolores said. We got to talk about the Dolores scene because it seemed slow, but it was really important. But we'll swing back there. But it was like Dolores said in her scene, she's like, I don't want to be in a story.
Yeah.
I don't want to be in a goddamn story. And, a life without meaning, why would you want to go on with that? And I think that's why he wants to be there. I think you do live longer in this world, but why would you want to if everything's so boring?
I have a Rick and Morty reference on that one, which just always makes me laugh. As you see Rick in the morning, at one point he's building this little robot, and he puts it down and he activates it. And he goes, "Pass me the butter." And the robot grabs the little butter thing, drags it over in front of him, and says, "Here you go. Here's the butter." And then it stands and looks at him and goes, "What is my purpose?" "You pass the butter." And he asks him again. He goes, "What is my purpose?" "You pass the butter." Then the robot just kind of slumps over and goes, "Oh God." He goes, "Yeah, welcome to the party, pal."
Yep.
Well, very dark.
Exactly it. And why would you want eternal life? So I think the Man in Black wants to find the end of the maze, but maybe when you get there, maybe there is something exciting and new come up. Maybe it's the Love Boat. Maybe the Love Boat is there. We're expecting you. Das Boot.
Oh God.
We'll be sinking another one. Das Boot. Okay. I love him next to my
swing back around to Dolores.
I know. I love next to my Westworld notes. I have my shopping list from Whole Foods. 3 pounds of high quality beef, Worcestershire sauce, and almonds. Okay, so it was a very interesting night. We are going to swing back to kind of the most boring scene, but actually one of the most telling scenes was the quiet little love-making scene. There, by the way, lots of nudity in tonight's episode. There's a lot of pretty people on the show. So Dolores and William have a little robot love, and
they make the beast of two backs. Yes.
And my theory of her falling for him was totally confirmed. So yes, I did spike the ball in front of Melissa and went, "I'm right, you're wrong." Da, 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 da. And very much, and a little more mature than that though. And they start talking, and and while William is asleep with his shirt off, because everybody has to sleep with their shirt off, and then he has to put it on super slow and sexy, which my wife liked. She's painting or drawing something on a canvas, and it's like a valley.
On a blanket, yeah. On
a blanket. She's drawing. She's a very talented artist, this Dolores. And they're talking about, their journeys and what they want out of life. We get to learn a little more about William. We get to learn that he's very passive aggressive. And he, when the Confederate robots were kicking the shit out of Logan, that was one of the greatest moments of his life.
Jonas.
I thought his name was Logan.
No, I thought it was Jonas, but anyway.
Whatever. Bearded guy. The guy James Brolin plays in the original movie.
Yeah.
He's loosely based on that. And when he's getting the crap beat out of him, like he said, "Oh, I was waiting for a moment like that." And I'm like, "Oh, he's a pussy." He's passive aggressive. It's like, come on, dude. If you don't like somebody, just go, "Hey, you're a dick." It's easy. I do it all the time. But it's good for the storytelling, and he finds that in the context of the story, he's set up to get married to a girl who's involved in the company, who I guarantee you is that girl who's the board director, by the way. Yes, I know you're asking. Their brother and sister. How is that possible? Well, did you not watch the remake of Fantastic Four? They made it possible.
I know there's adoption and stuff like that.
Yeah. So I think that's it's another guess. It's another guess. We'll see what happens. But by the way, she's kind of badass. I like her. I mean, she's evil, but I like her. I think she. By the way, she's Valkyrie.
Oh yeah,
she's Valkyrie. So for all those people who are complaining, and you know what, rightfully so, I can totally agree. Although Tilda Swinton did a great job in Doctor Strange, we didn't even cover this in the podcast because it's like it's just an actor playing a role. But the Ancient One was Asian, and I don't know why they didn't just put it. I think they felt like they needed to put another woman in, But why not an Asian woman then? That's what I would have done.
Because
but I'm not the casting director.
I don't know.
Oh, I'm sure they would have gotten. They would have. Well, I mean, weren't they supposed to be in what country were they in? Tibet. So they probably would have gotten. Yes. They probably would have gotten a Chinese actress to play it or something. Just got it wrong. So it's probably better off what they did. But I mean, then we've got a black girl playing Valkyrie. Okay, sounds great. Do you know what? I liked her in this, so I think she'll be a badass Valkyrie. I don't care what she looks like as long as she's got metal tits. If she's got metal tits, then I'm down, because that's the reason we all loved Valkyrie in the comic books, was her metal tits.
Those things are hard to draw too, man.
Oh, just circles.
Yeah, I know, but still, you got to get the circles right. You got to get them in the right.
I'm going to draw some for you live on the air right now, some metal tits. Okay? This is how you do it, Dennis. Okay. It's all in the squiggly lines for the chroming effect. Okay.
No, I'm talking about for when you're doing the action scenes,
Oh, like when she's off to the side. Yeah, that's a little hard.
Sides, that kind of stuff,
But yeah. I'm only drawing one tit and it's not on the body. But yeah, it's all in the chroming. It's all right there in the chroming. Oh my God, it's all blown out. Never mind. Just imagine a metal tit. We'll cut that out part.
Yes, I don't see anything.
Whatever. Here, I'll show you mine.
I was trying to, like the androids, the hosts, they don't see anything on a piece of paper,
Oh, I get. See, dude, blonde. Hello. Blonde.
I know.
Sorry.
Yeah, I've been working with you for a long number of years.
Yeah, this is our what podcast? This is our 100. This is like 120, by the way, because you and John have been cranking them out.
No, it's got to be more than 100. It's got to be closer to like 140 now, right?
No, it's like it's 120 because I counted it was 114 last week. Okay. I wanted to do a big thing for the 100th episode, but we just blew right through it. So we got our 3-year anniversary coming up, so that's rad. So let's so Dolores back to Dolores. She draws the picture of the valley, and lo and behold, they find it. And it looks like, and she's getting flashes of something that hasn't happened yet. That's why we're messing with. Remember, Ford is currently building the new narrative, and it's surrounded by some kind of white church. Okay,
Yes.
it hasn't been built yet. If we're following Ford, but she's getting flashbacks about it. So
exactly,
they're really playing with us with time on this one. And to sum up, I need to watch. That's what's cool about this episode. I love shows you have to watch a couple, 3 times. I know that annoys some people, but I love it. I love going back and dissecting it. And that's why it's almost kind of we like to do these podcasts right after the show because we get our fresh opinions. We haven't thought about it, and we aren't like, Dennis and I try not to let other influences come in. That's the big deal. That's why we try to do this stuff right after the show. Because we get our hottest takes. But it's also, we have to stick with our word. A lot of people will do podcasts and they'll have researchers do stuff for them, and which is great, but it ain't real. We're just trying. We're a couple of guys. We're just a couple of guys doing podcast. We're talking to you, and we're very happy nerds. We're happy nerds. So, Dennis, what was your big takeaway? All right, well, let's do that. Let's do who you think is going to die. Give me 3 people forget 3 people are going to live. Give me 3 people who are going to die. Give me 1 person who's going to live, and give me how you think it's going to end. And you can change your opinion in later episodes, but what are you thinking right now?
Well, Ford's going to die. I guarantee he's going to die at some point. And I'm thinking it's going to be by the end of the season.
Okay.
Let's see. Who else? I think Owen's going to eat it, tell you the truth. Not Felix, but Owen, I think, is going to eat it.
Okay, so you got Dr. Ford, Owen,
and the third person. Huh?
I'll say Theresa, or I'll slap you. I think Theresa's going to die.
It might be I don't think the board member is going to die. I think it's actually going to be that twit, that guy who writes the stories.
Sizemore,
yeah.
He hasn't been in it enough. I love Sizemore. I do. But you're right. I think he's going to walk into he'll get pushed into that grinder thing or something. Something horrible is going to happen to him. I think you're right.
He's going to find out something that Ford doesn't want him to find out because he's going to push Ford. Ford's going to give him one warning.
Well, I don't think Ford fears him, but I think what? That's the one guy you don't see coming. The one guy you just the one thing you don't see is usually the thing that gets you. That's why all con men want to convince you, and all grifters want to convince you you're the dumbest MFer in the room. Yeah. Because then because everybody, when people think they have intellectual superiority over you, they feel better about themselves, and they loosen up and they talk more, and they're easier to manipulate. Yeah, don't ask me how I know that, but I mean, it's just studying people, and I totally agree with you. I think Sizemore is going to stumble onto something like The Secret. He'll find out the thing, and then Ford will accidentally push him into that thing that grinds up mountains. It will, right? I mean, he's going to get okay. Well, do you want to put the added horrible death for Sizemore for extra points?
Probably, yeah. I think so. It's either him or the security guard. But the security guard now, I think, might be a host. I mean,
that's what I said last time. I think he's a host. Yeah. So Thor's little brother.
Yeah.
I don't know his name. Okay, so who's going to live?
Who's going to live out of this? It's got to be William.
Okay. And how do you think it's going to end, Dennis?
I think it's going to end with William knowing what the secrets are, and he's going to change so much from what he's gone through in the park. He's going to try and take it over just to destroy it.
Excellent. There's a secret behind William. There still feels like there's something because he knows how to shoot. He's kind of, Can we all relate to back in the Dolores and Williams scene? You know, a lot of us nerds. He talked about like all he had was books as a kid, and he just lived in his books. When I, you know, from ages for me from 6 to like 13, you know, I was a hardcore nerd. People called me Space Kid. I used to live in my comic books. That's how I became a fan. I escaped in that shit because of pain and loneliness and really sad shit, but also I liked it a lot, and I got into it, and believe me, I got over it. Therapy helps. But it helps you identify with William and kind of be sympathetic. So he's our good guy now, because I said last podcast that Bernard was our good guy, and I still think he is. I still like Bernard.
He could be. I think he's gonna go evil.
Well, I'm going to tell you, I think who I think is going to go evil. Okay, so my deaths are Man in Black. I think the Man in Black will die. I don't think this show is big enough for Ed Harris and Anthony Hopkins. And I'm really glad they got a scene together. It was a great scene together. I hope we get one more. I don't think we will, but like just Ed Harris and Anthony Hopkins on a screen together on a TV show.
We will when he enters the maze. Once he finds out what's in the middle of the maze, that's when when Ford's going to walk in, and he's going to trap him.
I think one of them dies, and I think it's the Man in Black. I also think. Jonas / Logan, whatever his name is, the guy with the beard, I think he's going to die. And, you know, they are paralleling the movie. I won't spoil it. Well, you know, it's a 30-year-old movie.
If you haven't watched
James
the movie
Brolin, James Brolin character dies in the movie. Okay. And, you know, you had 30 years to watch it. So don't complain about fucking spoilers, please. I'm going to say that character dies. I'll just say bearded douche. The bearded douche. Okay, and the third character that's going to die is going to be Meave. I think you're going to get a big character. She's a host, but she can still die. Am I not allowed to kill hosts?
I thought we were doing humans, so we're dying.
Okay. Then we'll scratch out Meave. Humans that are going to die. The other human. Okay, well, we don't know if he's a human yet, but I'm going to say Thor's little brother, Hemsworth, the security guard. I think he's going to die.
Yeah.
Who's going to live? I'm going to say Ford lives. I think he'll die in the series. I agree with you that's like he does not survive the series. But I mean, that would. Do you think the show could survive if they killed Ed Harris and Anthony Hopkins?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just looking at it from Anthony Hopkins. He costs a lot of money.
Oh, he must.
I think he's just going to last one season.
So how it's going to end is I am actually going to agree with you that Dr. Ford will. I think he'll be prepared to blow the whole goddamn thing up, but I am going to predict a Godfather type ending. I'm going to predict that he will take out the board, whatever the board is. I think he just takes them all out in some wacky, fun way. If they do it over a baptism in the church, that would be a little bit of, copying, but it'd still be awesome.
He finds a successor. That's the other thing too, is he could make Sizemore his successor.
That would be funny. But it's got to be somebody brilliant. Like Bernard was set up to be a success. Yeah, what they do with Bernard from here out is so interesting. In the scenes they showed, like Bernard having a hard time with it. So he is self-aware.
Yeah.
I think there's going to be more to that. Okay, what do you think about this? What do you think that Bernard might have been a real person at some point?
He might have been. He might have been downloaded into one of the hosts.
And we're going to find out that maybe some of the hosts actually have like real memories of real people, making them real people. I also want to make another prediction. I think Teddy is going to become our real Man in Black. I think Teddy in the Westworld movie, Yul Brynner's character was the gunfighter that you always shot, but he always died. And they gave you some foreshadowing in this with that one guy drinking the milk who and in every narrative he dies, he bites it, and he just got tired of dying. Well,
he held a grudge. Yeah,
he held a grudge. That's what happened to Yul Brenner's character, and what it was it was a malfunction. It was a virus. It wasn't artificial intelligence, and he just got tired of dying, and started taking people out. I think Teddy. We saw how dark he can get and how badass he is.
Yeah.
And also with Teddy, they showed that I think every host is programmed to protect Ford under all circumstances. Like no matter what. Like
he goes, Teddy, I think it's time to give you a backstory now. And he goes, something a little juicy. And the whole Wyatt backstory, I think made him a lot darker than he actually intended.
And I wonder when we're going to see Wyatt. And what is Wyatt?
Well, we did see Wyatt.
We saw him in a flashback. We haven't seen Wyatt in present time. We just saw him in a slow-mo flashback. And last episode we could talk about Teddy helped Wyatt kill everybody.
Yeah.
But that wasn't
the thing is, though, do we know if that actually happened in the past or is that happening in the future?
No, or is it just happening in his head because it was programmed there?
Yeah.
You know what? The great thing about this show is it's moving fast. It's entertaining us. We feel like we're getting enough information, but we're actually not getting fucking any information whatsoever.
We're getting anything at all.
They are not showing the shark. We don't know where they are. We don't know what time it is. We don't know who's real or not. We just know that there may be an old guy controlling a bunch of robots in a Western world. That's all we know. But we're entertained. That is great writing.
We're one of the hosts, is what it is. We're one of the hosts. We're getting
we're
turned
the
on.
hosts. Well, we are. We're the hosts of the Nerdrotic Podcast. Yeah, I was waiting to do that one. Sorry, that was terrible.
Oh my god! You're just lucky you're not next to me. I would have slapped you so hard on that one. I would have slapped the taste out of your mouth.
Oh, take my mother, please.
Oh my god!
Or does it take my wife, please? I can't. I take my mother, please. Get your hands off my mother, straw man. Okay.
Remember to tip your waitresses, folks. Gary will be here all week.
Oh yeah, and smack him on the ass too. See how that goes. Okay. So yeah. Oh, I just turned my camera off. Wait a minute. Okay. That was a fantastic episode. I'm actually going to go back and watch it again, Dennis. So I misread. I had asked both of you to watch it, and we, Dennis and John and I have this thread going on Facebook where we constantly talk to each other at really random points during the day. Whatever hits our head, it's mostly me. I'll shoot out a message at all hours of the night. So when I told you guys to watch it, under threat of violence, John said he watched it and said, it's not really not my thing. And I thought that was you, dude, because that was something you say about freaking everything, right? So I thought that was you. So
about everything.
So when you shot me back saying, I really like it, I'm like, was that John or Dennis? Because I can't see the names on my phone. I'm like, what? That couldn't be Dennis. Nah. And it was fucking you. And I'm like, no way. He likes it. Right on. And Dennis is fucking Mikey. Okay. Mikey, he likes it. He hates everything. Dennis hates everything.
I don't hate everything. I like a lot of stuff.
You like 6 things, but you like them like nobody else. I mean, when you like, buddy, you go full on, stalker like. That's what I love about you. So, when you said you caught up and you're like, this thing's amazing, and then you shot me the text of like, it's so un-Dennis like. He's like, holy shit, did you see that episode? Oh my fucking god. Dennis doesn't get excited. That's funny. That's the thing you and Harry have in common, is you guys like not impressed. You don't get excited or impressed about.
It's because we've seen all this stuff before. That's I think what it is Harry has seen. He's probably read about as much sci-fi as I have. All this kind of stuff. And again, I say the X-Men do not exist in the original Marvel universe. They have their own little universe to themselves, and have had all kinds of manner of shit happen to them throughout their storylines. That it's every conceivable sci-fi story ever told.
Every conceivable story is in the X-Men. Absolutely. I could not agree with you more on that one. But you guys just don't get excited about shit. I don't know. It's in your fucking DNA. I don't know what it is. Listen, I've read plenty of shit and I've seen plenty of shit, but I mean, maybe I'm like Ash. I'm just fucking dumb. So I get excited by stuff. You know what? Color me dumb and happy. Remember? Yeah, maybe that's what. You know what? I can't. Fact of matter. This is a true fact. I cannot be hypnotized under any circumstances. They have tried. I cannot be hypnotized, and I found out last night. It's because I'm too fucking stupid.
You're missing the delta wave. You're your own grandfather.
There's no delta wave. There's like a delta ripple going on there. It might be a little splash, but there's no wave. There's no wave going on right there at all. So our next what's going to be our next podcast?
Supergirl and Flash. It's going to be me and John.
So I'm going to be putting up. You did a CW roundup a couple days ago. I'm putting that up in the morning along with yours and mine Ash review, and we do talk a little Westworld. Yes. This one. So 3 podcasts will be up on our website. Audio
and an unboxing.
So 4. So we're gonna have 4 videos, 3 audios going up. Our podcast can be found at nerdrotic.com. That's where all our videos and our podcasts are planted. You can subscribe to our podcast 3 ways on iTunes and Google Play. We have 3 feeds. All you have to do is search Nerdrotic Podcast. That's the easiest way to find it. And you can also hear our old Sutra Watchtower ones, my old Cult of Frisco Doctor Who ones, and even a couple of old Comic Outpost ones from back in the day if you'd like to go listen to those. Wow. So that's on Google Play, and that is on iTunes.
Those were a mess, too.
You know what? They used to be they were a mess. We had one podcast, ladies and gentlemen, with 9 people. It was a fucking shit show. So
people just screaming over the top of each other. I remember that one.
Roger would be there, and he'd say like 5 things. 5 words. He would say 5 words. So where else we can be found on YouTube, and it's the Nerdrotic channel. You can see it written right there, the Nerdrotic channel. Please subscribe to the Nerdrotic channel. We have 65 videos posted up there, which are some podcasts, Dennis's unboxing videos, our Comic-Con stuff, with some interviews. I will be posting up the long-awaited 2013 Comic Outpost TV live interview with Dave McKeon. Why am I blanking on his name now?
Denny O'Neill wasn't he in there?
Denny O'Neill, the artist for Watchmen, who I'm blanking on right now.
Dave Gibbons.
Dave Gibbons, yes, Dave Gibbons interview, and it's all interviews conducted by John Hell himself from Valencia Radio. None of the we've only shown a trailer. None of these videos have shown the light of day. They will be up by Christmas. They'll be old, but we hear Gibbons' reaction to After Watchmen and his thoughts on Alan Moore and politics, and it's really cool. We also have Jay McKeon, who is the artist for all the Sandman covers. John Hell did a great job, like getting some great talent. The comic I Love Led Zeppelin, the girl from I Love Led Zeppelin, he interviews her. It is utterly fantastic. It is it was a vision that I had that unfortunately farted out with the crazy stuff that happened. I will also remind you all that coming very soon, you will hear the untold story of the end of the Comic Outpost, unedited, unscripted, and the whole truth and nothing but the
long.
Dennis will be with me. Do I
have to sit through it again?
You have to sit through it again. You were there, but you have to sit through it again. And we're going to talk because, well, you know what? Because I actually kept off the internet, and I try not to Google Comic Outpost and try not to look at anything. But I ran across in Bleeding Cool, there was a whole article about me. The whole thing was they never talked to me. And there's a lot of stuff that's not fucking true in that article. So I just want to set the record straight. Now, you know what? I'm not mad at them or anything. They only heard the story from one side, and it's half true, but it's not all the way true. And it's not like anybody said anything bad. I just want to make sure that people get the record straight on it was on what was behind it. I just want you to know the truth. I can't say any more right now because I have a job that I need to keep. But we will talk about it, and it'll be juicy. It'll be exciting, and I'm gonna dish dirt. I won't name names, but if you were at the Comic Outpost, you'll figure out things. But there will be no naming of names.
And don't we also have a contest that?
Oh yes, the most important thing. What I meant to say was we are going to start offering prizes. We were going to get it tonight, but I didn't get one together, so we will offer it at the next podcast. You guys do the Supergirl one. We're going to do our own loot crate, okay? But we're not going to have. They will not have pop vinyls and no T-shirts. It's going to be action figures like these on my wall behind me. So I used to own a comic store called the Comic Outpost. I might have mentioned it. And I sold most of my inventory, but I kept my own personal collection. And then I realized that I had forgotten crates of stuff at my father-in-law's house, at my mother's house. So I have literally could start a comic shop tomorrow with what I have in my garage and in this room. What you're seeing is just a small piece of like all this stuff will be for sale. So all this stuff around me, all this Doctor Who stuff will be it's going to slowly be put into these little boxes. We don't have a name yet. Dennis is hard at work on it. I can see him working right now. But we will have prizes. You will have to answer a question. You will have to watch the podcast, but it'll be worth it. This stuff will be cool. You're going to get comic books. And I promise, at least 2 of the comic books will be very good and possibly worth money. So I'm not going to give you guys crap. It's going to be fun stuff for our loyal viewers and listeners. Dennis, where can your Twitter be found?
My Twitter can be found, as you can see right below me here, at DeForce. That's what it says right there. John Reed can be found at John Reed, REED 16. The Nerdrotic Twitter at Nerdrotics with an S. You can find us there. And let's see, also Facebook. We already talked about our Facebook page. I put up a lot of movie trailers, movie news, movie deaths, that kind of thing. Everything that we've been following. So if you want to see throughout the week, pretty much, I usually post some stuff up there. Take a look at that and like us on our page. Follow us on our page on iTunes, Google Play. Follow us on Facebook as well. We definitely like to hear from you. Post stuff on our page. If you have any questions that you guys want us to do during our podcast, we'd be happy to ask. We haven't seen any questions as of yet, so we haven't answered anything.
What's funny is we get a lot of viewers and a lot of questions on Facebook Live. Facebook Live is where we get the most responses. People just don't want to click through on the YouTube thing, or you can't comment on the YouTube thing. You can on Periscope. We're working on getting Periscope, what's called a sharecast, and Dennis and I, right now it's a little harder than I thought it would, and I just need a couple hours to play with it. I'll have it figured out by next week. Some other big plans. We're going to have big changes to the website. So what Dennis was just talking about was all our daily news. Dennis does all of our research, daily news, all of our what's called content, our daily content. That will start showing up on the website too, but it can also be found on Facebook and Twitter. But when it goes to the website, you're starting to get our take. Dennis will be writing articles. I'll be writing articles. John Reed will actually be taking over the bulk of that. Probably after the holidays, we got big changes coming. I'm going to be redoing the studio in here. I'm going to actually be making a studio so we don't have clunky things shaking and bad lighting and stuff. So yeah.
Me too. I'll probably have a green screen behind me at some point in time.
Yeah, we're moving up. We're putting some. We're going to actually put $5 or $6 into this thing. Moving on up. Anniversary episode coming up. We got a big party plan. Christmas party, holiday party planned for the weekend of the 20th of December. It's going to be a big live broadcast.
I just had I saw Ride Along 2 today, and Ken Jeong, the actor, he's drunk on rum. He's at a wedding at Kevin Hart's wedding, and says, "I'm sorry for your loss. Happy Kwanzaa." As he's walking past, and I don't know why, it just all of a sudden flashed through my mind when you said Happy Holiday.
Well, I'm not playing. Whatever holiday it's going to be in December on a day off, and it's going to be a bunch of us in San Diego. I know John's trying to get it moved to LA, but I got more friends in San Diego. I want to do it in San Diego. Actually, we have a place. Jamie doesn't know it yet, but
Yes.
we want to do it live from Southern California Comics. So did you hear that, Jamie? We want to do it live from your store.
Yeah, I got to talk to him next week.
You got it. Well, I'm going to shoot him a message because we got to talk. He and I got to talk. Okay, so there's a lot of. Yes, I wish him a happy birthday. Happy birthday, Jamie Newbold. We love you. Who's Jamie Newbold? He owns
Jamie Newbold, Southern California Comics. If you're down
best
here
comic shop
in
in
San Diego,
best comic shop in SoCal.
Exactly.
If you like them back issues, he's really genius idea. Go look at the website, SoCalComics.com. He has a great crew there, and his comic knowledge is second to none. He's the best grader I've ever met, and he's a good man. He was there for me when my pops died. He's like I don't want to age him and say he's like the dad. He's like the big brother I never had. So love you, Jamie. Happy birthday, man.
Happy birthday, Jamie.
Yeah. So we also should mention that our friend Spectre X has a Patreon, I believe. He messaged me.
Okay.
Yeah. So Enrique Morales has a Patreon that we will link on our Facebook page for his comic book Spectre X. It is a San Francisco-based superhero. It is a San Francisco-based artist and writer. He shopped at my store. He kind of guerrilla shot some stuff in my store without my permission, but that's okay. I don't care. The store was there for a free for all, and I love that. I love that people did that, and I felt kind of honored that they wanted to do that in my store. So it's totally cool. The only thing I ever said no to, filming a porn. Yes, somebody wanted to pay me a lot of money to film a porn in my store,
But you did think about it.
Oh, I thought about it long and hard. Oh, bad analogy.
And I think if I remember correctly, wasn't this supposed to be a gay porn?
It was.
Yes. So, it was San Francisco. So there we go.
I didn't have to be there. It's like, and not that there's anything wrong with that. It's just not my thing, baby. It's okay.
Yep.
They offered me a lot of money, so I thought about it long and hard. Sorry, I had to think twice. Okay. So, anything else, Dennis? You want to talk about?
No, I think we covered the gamut of everything out there. We're going to get to Walking Dead at some point in time. We just didn't get a chance to watch tonight because we were setting up for this. So maybe even tomorrow. Who knows?
Hopefully. Newsflash, not super happy with it. John isn't. I think you're okay with it. I need to see the last two episodes, though, but the first couple episodes, it was very Fear the Walking Dead for me. It was very, although Fear the Walking Dead, I kind of thought got better to me.
Yeah,
anyway,
it has.
So
especially once they killed Chris off. Oh, spoilers!
Yeah, totally, dude. But yeah, just quick note. Everybody knows that. I think the Glenn thing was just like that was really mishandled. I mean,
well, you know what, Glenn, Steve Yen actually told Robert Kirkland. He actually said this during the Talking Dead. When he read issue 100 and saw what happened to Glenn, he actually told Kirkland, he goes, I want that. He goes, if you're going to do this on the show, because he says it's very powerful, and he says it shouldn't go to anyone else but me.
Well, let's hope that that jumping the shark does not get replaced by getting Glenn or Glenn dying twice or something like that.
Did you see the Dave Chappelle version of it on Saturday Night Live?
No.
I have it up on my I think it's on my timeline, and he did it last night on Saturday Night Live, and it's all his characters from the Dave Chappelle show, and Tyrone Biggins is the one who ends up getting...
I gotta go back and see that, man. I heard that was good. And who was the band again? It wasn't the
it was a Tribe Called Quest.
Tribe Called Quest. Yes, I gotta go back and watch
their last album. They released their last album.
Oh my God! Did you hear that Martin Scarelli, fucker? Played. So he played Wu-Tang, right? And I guess Wu-Tang, with the surviving members of the band, which isn't the Wu-Tang, dude. It's not Wu-Tang without ODB. So he plays a song off this album that I guess they only made one copy of. It won't be released for sale for 80 years. They can play it on the radio. He bought it for $2 million, which is honestly more than a band will get. You know what? Every band should do that. They should make their own special edition album for one rich guy, because that $2 million will be more than they ever make off an album, ever.
Well, they can get it back. They just have to steal it back from him. It's in the contract.
So they have to break into his house and steal it?
Yes. There's some way of they can have to steal it back. I forget. It's actually in the contract, and if they get it back from him, they can release it.
Well, he played a song, which was really disappointing, because I had to sit there and look at his fucktard face, and it was just the intro. And I'm like, God damn it. Whatever. It was underwhelming. But then I found out, like, there's all these bands that have unreleased albums. Like, there's a ton of them out there. There's a Smiths unreleased album, which I would fucking pay $2 million for, because I am a Smiths fan. So, that's a side rant that we didn't need to talk about. But, can I also talk about, I'm just staring over here. I fucking love these little Funko figures. These I just love the shit out of these things. I got right now, I currently buy my graphic novels at Green Apple Books, because it's right around the corner from my son's school. And, although the owner said some very, very bad things about my store, I don't take it personal. And I went out there and shopped. I've started actually reading comic books again. First time in 3 years, ladies and gentlemen. That does mean something, by the way. And I am going to have a subscriber at 2 different stores, which I will announce next podcast. But one of them is in San Francisco, and it's not my store, my old one. Anything else, Dennis?
No.
How about that Charger game, dude?
Charger game? What was going? I heard they lost, right?
Oh, dude, they found. I mean, I applauded how they found a way to lose. It was fucking epic. It was like, that's Charger football,
it's not like the 49ers. I mean, the 49ers, from what I've heard, have just spectacularly stunk this season.
Oh, this is why, real quick, it's all connected. It's, San Diego's going to lose Comic-Con next, by the way. This was connected. If the Comic-Con hinged on the Chargers staying. Chargers are not staying. Comic-Con is leaving, because they're not getting a new convention center now. And I can actually I can make a great argument that you should pay tax dollars to have a convention center, because that is something that runs year-round, that brings in tons of fucking money.
I actually voted for that. I voted not for C, not for the Charger Stadium, but the other one. I think it was E.
And they both went down.
Yes, they both went down.
Because San Diegans, although they're moving more Democrat now, San Diegans don't like paying taxes on fucking shit. And they shouldn't. Not for a football team. That's like building a theater. That's like tax money going towards a movie theater to show the Avengers. I mean, there's no difference. Or a play, like a Jersey Boys stadium. There's no difference.
Money to build a Disneyland.
Build a Disneyland. And guess what? With ratings sinking, and it's not all because of cord cutting and everything. The ratings are sinking because millennials, that generation that people like to talk about way too much, and us older folks are getting interested in other stuff. And fandom, as far as sports, is I think it's kind of fading. I think the nerddom has actually kind of taken over fandom, and I think it's drawn a lot. And also video gaming. My son watches live League of Legends. I mean, that's something that's cutting into it too. So they need to wise up. And if the NFL does everything just wrong, they're stupid. They're never going to get another stadium built by anybody. I think the Vegas one, because they're dumb and they have a lot of money, that'll be the last one. But there'll never be another one in LA.
Go back and watch the movie. The Last Boy Scout. It's a horrible movie. Okay, but it got all this stuff right. It was a Bruce Willis, Damon Wayans movie.
Great movie.
With Halle Berry in it. Halle Berry was also.
Is that Michael Bay?
No, it is not. But it looks Michael Bay-ish. Yeah.
It's either Tony Scott or Michael Bay. It's one of those two guys.
I think it is Tony Scott. It is Tony Scott. Yes. But yes, it actually goes through this whole thing about how the NFL is losing viewers at a rapid rate, and what they're trying to do to bring in new viewers and all this kind of stuff. It kind of hit the nail on the head, and that was back in the 90s.
Yeah, and that's when the NFL was doing great. It's not now.
Yeah,
it probably was prophetic. No, so I'm so proud of San Diego for shooting that down for the stadium, because it sucks for Comic-Con, but again, you got to think of it. You got to think of it as an adult.
Yeah,
Comic-Con's not going to last forever. Not at the rate it's going.
No.
It will not last forever. It's been around for 40 years, and it got too big. Now, if it would downsize a little bit, it would last. But they won't. That's something that just never happens in America. People don't put the brakes on anything and go, maybe we've made enough money. Maybe we should just make it a little smaller. People don't do that, which is stupid. And it sucks. I'm not heartbroken though, because I don't live in San Diego and I'm going to stay a Charger fan, and it's 100 miles closer to me, so I'm a selfish bastard. Comic-Con, that'll be sad.
Yeah,
that'll be sad, because you could put Camp Comic-Con name on it, and I don't care. My prediction is it tours. They're going to start touring it like Lollapalooza, and that's when Lollapalooza kind of went to shit when it started touring.
Yeah.
And it'll have its time
to when it moves. Yeah.
But we got 2 more years of Comic-Con.
Yes, we do.
2 more years, and then
actually, it's till 2017, right? Yeah, so it's 1 more year.
So where do you think it's going to go, Dennis? Because it ain't going to LA.
I honestly don't think they're going to find a place to move it, and they're just going to keep it here, and they're just going to have to suffer with what they've got.
Well, the hoteliers run San Diego with an iron fist, and that at least that's been exposed. That came out. You know why the Padres got their stadium? Because the hotel owners were totally down with that, because there's more games. They could charge more for the rooms. You ask yourself, why would the hotel owners hate Comic-Con? It brings people in. It's San Diego. There's people there anyway. It's actually San Diego actually keeps people out, because Comic-Con forces the hotel owners, with good reason, to charge reasonable rates, because they're not a bunch of rich people, retirees on vacation. These are kids, and they don't like them stacking up in rooms and stuff, and they want to charge full pop all the time. And it's been a battle forever.
A crap load of, they charge a crap load of money.
It's disgusting how much they charge, but the thing is, they can actually get double what they get for each room on a normal summer day in San Diego. They're being really selfish, and they're being what they are. They're big corporate businesses. Now, if it was a smaller business or a family-owned hotel, it's probably somebody you could reason with, but you can't reason with a Saudi Arabian. One of the hotels is owned by Saudi Arabia. One of the other hotels is owned by China. You can't. They don't give a shit. They don't totally understand. They don't give a shit. And that's why we're going to be losing Comic-Con. And that's why they were against the Charger deal too. They didn't want the Chargers being downtown, because it's only 8 games. It doesn't really make. And honestly, the downtown stadium for the Chargers didn't make sense. And I know this is boring people, but it actually makes more sense building it right where the same one is. You can actually build it and keep that stadium there. The parking lot is fucking giant. It's centrally located, and it's perfect. It's a perfect location. No, it's not pretty. It doesn't have buildings around it. Who gives a damn? Yep. It's a football stadium. And the city is itching to give it to San Diego State, because they don't have enough room. It's already one of the biggest campuses in America. I don't know. It's too bad, but San Diego will never get another football team ever again. And I think they should actually say no to the NFL. If the NFL tries to come back and lure them, they should just go, fuck you. So we'll see what happens. But I really...
It's $9 billion in revenue, $9.5 billion in revenue. They can afford to build their own stadium.
Oh, dude, yes. Well, the fact of the matter is, the Spanos are some of the poorest owners in the NFL, and the NFL actually wants them out. You know
what? The Giants, when the Giants built AT&T Park, or Pac-Bell Park, or whatever the hell it's called this week, they were not winning. They had Barry Bonds. Barry Bonds was actually very disliked at the time, and they actually scraped together all the money by themselves. They didn't use any tax dollars, $900 million, and they built that stadium themselves. They didn't have to worry about any, people trying to block them or anything like that. The reason why is they went to the city and they said, "Hey, see this dilapidated area of town? We want to put a big place here with some shops and stuff like that. We're going to pay for it, and all we want to do is rent out the land." And the city was like, "Sure, go for it." And that's exactly what the NFL has to do with these things.
In the Chargers' defense, now, nobody should have given Spanos a stadium after his act of trying to move the Chargers to Carson and then coming back. I mean, like, you thought you'd get a stadium, you fucking asshole. But they originally wanted to build a stadium right where the Murph is now, and I will not call it Qualcomm. And the Chargers just wanted to, they said, "Hey, listen, give us the land. Just give us the land, and we'll build everything around it. We'll build condos, we'll build shopping centers, just give us the land." San Diego said no because it was during the housing boom. And they're like, "We want to build condos there because we need more fucking condos in Mission Valley." So San Diego is like, the city is dumb as fuck, too. I mean, not the people, but the city council. Well, the people who keep voting in the same shitheads. Come on, people. It goes around and around. But no, you should never justify paying that much for 8 games a year. Don't count the preseasons. Yep. 8 games a year. It's fucking ridiculous. Build your own damn stadiums. And they want these Taj Mahals too. Jerry Jones paid for his own stadium. Stan Kroenke up in LA paid for his own stadium. The 49ers used hotel taxes, which wasn't taxing the people of Santa Clara, even though Santa Clara. Now Glendale in Arizona got fucking hosed. So if you want to talk about like how much money you can lose, go talk to Glendale, Arizona.
Well, that Levi Stadium is just a joke. I mean, they put it in the worst area. They didn't build up any kind of transportation infrastructure around it. They just kind of, okay, here's a residential area. We're going to plunk a stadium right in the middle of it.
Yeah.
Hey,
there's no trolley. There's no buses that run after midnight. Indigo went down there. My son Indigo went down there for a game, went into overtime. It took him 4 hours to get home because he had to bus from Santa Clara to San Francisco. Jesus. And you're like, but aren't they called the San Francisco 49ers? Actually, they should be called the San Jose 49ers because you could see San Jose from where they are, and San Francisco's 50 miles away.
Well, technically 40, but still it's 10 miles,
No, it's actually 48. So 48 is actually closer to 50 than 40.
True.
Yeah, so it's a long fucking way away. If you're in San Diego, it's like driving almost to Disneyland. It's like driving to a little north of San Clemente for a Charger game. So There you go. All right. Well, I don't know how much of that I'm going to keep in, but it's nice talking to you, Dennis. I'm gonna probably watch Westworld again, and
I'm going to sleep because I got to work tomorrow.
Wuss. Hey, you should go get I talked about last. Get those Valerian graphic novels off Amazon. They're cheap and they're freaking awesome. I don't know if you've read them.
I'm probably going to get the digital copies and just.
There you go. That's even better.
Yeah,
that's even better. Okay. Good night, everybody. Thank you for watching and listening. And we will be back tomorrow. We'll be back every day.
We will.
All right.
And don't let the door hit your ass on the way out, America.
And may the small folks sing songs of your greatness.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.